David Bossie is the former deputy campaign manager for President Trump, president of Citizens United, and a Fox News contributor. And Gerri Willis is with us, anchor and business correspondent for the Fox Business Network. Great to see both of you.
Thanks for having us.
So, David, let me start with you. If the news has been so good on the economy, why isn't it better for President Trump's approval ratings?
Well, I think that the economy is one of the latter things that shows up. It lags in the polling. It always has. But this president has said since his campaign days that the new normal, the new Obama normal of 1% stagnation, 1.5% anemic growth was going to be over when he became president of the United States. And we're now into our second quarter of 3% growth, strictly from the power of the president's hope, growth, and opportunity ideas, as well as his deregulatory, pen that he's put to work. Now, if we can get tax reform done, and it looks like we're well on our way, the economy is going to boom, and he is going to be rewarded for it.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty astonishing, Gerri, when you look at what's happening in the market, and you do see that business optimism that is out there, clearly. But the Goldman Sachs report also said that they bet that it's about 80% that tax cuts get done. Okay, so that leaves 20% that they don't get done. And let me just play this Jeff Flake over the weekend. He and the president are very good buddies. And here's what he had to say that got picked up on an open mic. Watch this.
Come the party of Roy Moore and Donald Trump.
We
are
to be the
toast.
And I'm not blowing smoke at you, but you're the guy that could, just for fun, think how much fun it would be just to be the foil, and to point out what an idiot this guy is.
Think how much fun that would be. And then here's what the president said in his Twitter this morning. Senator Jeff Flake E., in Y parentheses, who is unelectable in the great state of Arizona, quit race, anemic polls, was caught purposely on mic saying bad things about your favorite president. He'll be a no on tax cuts because his political career anyway is toast, using his word. Gerri, is Jeff Flake going to stand in the way of tax reform, and how important is it to the economy?
Well, it's very important to the economy. The Goldman Sachs people say that unless you have that tax reform, you're not going to get 4%, right? So it's very important. But it's not just Flake standing in the way. It's also Susan Collins. It's Senator Johnson. There are more 2-3 people now saying, I'm not sure that I like this plan. And you know how tight it is in the Senate to get this thing through. It's very hard. So there are hurdles here. But I have to say, I do agree that the economy is doing very well right now. This 3% growth is fabulous. We've had a 14% gain on the S&P 500 this year. Unemployment is like a 17-year low. Things are moving in the right direction, but it's all predicated on getting tax cuts.
Yeah. So, you look at California, David, you look at some of these places where you've got a lot of representatives who are saying no to this. And there is the possibility that they could put the majority in the House at risk because of this tax bill.
Well, these representatives from these high tax states, have to really go back and talk to their mayors and their governors to try to lower their tax burden on their populations. But we need tax reform. We must have tax reform. It's been 35 years since the last time we've had it. The American people deserve it. President Trump has promised it and is going to keep that promise to the American people. And these members that Gerri was just talking about, these senators, some of them have good points. And Senator Johnson, I believe, raised a very important issue about small businesses and LLCs and subchapter S's and those pass-throughs that he wanted to see fixed. And I think that is a good fix. And then Senator Johnson, I hope, will get to yes. There's a difference between wanting to get to yes and Senators Flake and others on prior issues who had no interest in doing what is right for the American people. And tax reform, Senator Flake has to look at the state of Arizona and his constituents. Tax reform is something they sent him there to do. And it is something that they're going to demand. Yeah. So I hope that he's going to listen.
I mean, it raises a real question with, with Corker, with Flake, with Senator McCain, Gerri, and I want you to weigh in on this too, David. I mean, is this going to be a spite vote? I mean, are they going to listen to the folks at home, or are they going to vote with perhaps some emotion involved in this?
Well, that's a very good question. I think if they could have a long-term look at this, for the people who are going to be around in the Senate who plan to stay, their incentive is to say yes to tax reform at some level. But I have to tell you, it is a bitter pill for many of these representatives in blue states where people have high incomes. They're going to take a hit. Absolutely. The benefits are mostly towards corporations and businesses because, hey, at the end of the day, those are the folks who employ people and who can really get this economy moving.
Yeah. David, are those states being punished, for liberal leadership, essentially? And basically, Republicans are saying, well, we really don't care that much about those states because we never win them anyway.
Well, I think probably all three of us live in states that are just like that. So I don't think it's punishment. I think it is that this president has prioritized getting down the individual rates and cutting corporate America's taxes, and whether it's a small business or a medium-sized business or a large business. And I think this president's dedicated to it. I don't think there's, with that in mind, he wants the American economy to grow, which will raise all boats. That's the tide he's trying to lift.
No, some of these companies are pretty happy with the regulation lifted, even before they get the tax cuts. So thanks so much, you guys. Great to see you both tonight. Thanks, David. Thanks, Gerri.